I dedicate this to my beloved grandmother, whose first yahrzeit will be observed this week on Zayin Adar. Harabanis Chava Bas Alimélech, may her merit guide us and protect us. In her memory, I will share an insight that I heard from her husband, my grandfather Rabbi Moshe Hecht of blessed memory. When we study this week's Torah portion, Terumah, we learn about the instructions given to the Jewish people to build a Mishkan, a transportable miniature temple in the desert. We learn about all the materials necessary to build the structure, with its many parts and vessels. You had the ark, the menorah, the altar, the table with bread. You had beams and sockets. You had bespoke art curtains, rings and staves, and many more. Each item is listed to the exact detail, the material needed for this particular artifact, its exact measurements and specific trimmings. Of all of the artifacts, 3 had to have golden crown-like trimmings around it. Concerning the Holy Ark, the Torah teaches us in Exodus chapter 25, verse 11, and you shall make upon it a golden crown, v'asisa olav zer zahav saviv, all around. And likewise for the shulchan, for the golden table, and likewise for the altar. The Torah similarly instructs us to build zer zahav saviv, a golden crown all around. And the question comes to mind, of all of the many special artifacts made for this temple, why are these 3, the ark, the aron, the table, the shulchan, and the altar, the mizbeach, chosen to have this special golden crown? Certainly there must be a significance to this. Concerning the overall commandment to build for God a sanctuary, a home, our rabbis brilliantly point to the fact that the language that the Torah uses for this commandment is in Exodus chapter 25, verse 8, Ve'osu li mikdash v'shachanti b'soichem, which literally translates to mean, and they shall make me a sanctuary, and I will dwell in them. The Hebrew is not in the singular form, b'soichoi, which means in it. Rather, it is in the plural form, in them. This, our rabbis explain, is key to understanding this commandment as an instruction to every single Jew, including me and you, to build a home for God. Every one of our homes must be a place for God, where God feels comfortable and can call it His. The question is only, how do I create this type of home? What are the steps necessary to take in order to have my home become a godly abode too? The answer to this may be found in the golden crowns. Torah is teaching us that to do this properly, I'll need 3 ingredients: an ark, a table, and an altar. The ark was the container for the tablets that Moses brought down from Sinai. The ark is the symbol of Torah. The first step to allowing God in is by following His word, by deciding that His word is king. When I have a question of how to behave, I look to Torah for guidance. I always ask myself the question, what would Almighty God want me to be doing now? The first crown is our ark. The table represents the idea of sharing and friendship. I must eat like a Jew, but also extend the warmth, the love, the wholesome environment created by my Torah-filled home and host others. Hospitality. Food has always played a critical role in our mission as Jews. This started with Abraham, the first Jew, and continues to me and you. The second crown is our table. The third crown was on the inner altar, on which the incense were sacrificed. Some will argue that this represents the most crucial ingredient, and that is the readiness to make sacrifices. Let's face it, we all know it's much easier to maintain a home where God would not feel comfortable. To fulfill my instant gratifications and momentary pleasures comes natural to me. To refrain is to sacrifice. To train myself to redirect my selfish passions is sacrifice. The holy ark and the holy table only come if I'm committed to the cause of wanting my home to be God's home. And that takes inner strength, sacrifice, and stamina. The gift is, if we remain dedicated and we mix these 3 ingredients, we will be the greatest beneficiaries of our own home environment. There is nothing more wholesome, there's nothing more embracing than a warm Jewish home. In Yiddish, this is called a warm und lichtige Stube. The warmth and love are an expression of God's presence. My Rabbi Hecht certainly excelled in this. The home she was born into was not the same type of home she went on to build. Making certain lifestyle changes took much sacrifice. She did it because she felt it in her core. She wasn't born a chassid. She became a chassid, one who does not suffice with just the law, but rather goes beyond the letter of the law. By the time I knew her, when she was already a grandmother many times over, the golden crown of Torah, The golden crown of sharing and hospitality and the golden crown of sacrifice shined very bright in her home. I felt it firsthand. We can all take a lesson from this. God says, make me a sanctuary and I will dwell in them. This week, God empowers me and you to do the same. I wish you a good Shabbos.